Welcome to the Event Life Podcast, where we dive into the live event scene and have conversations with the people who make them happen. I'm your host, Esteban Cuadros, and I'm joined by the ever-insightful co-host, Jessica Barrett, and we're excited to share the conversation with you. Enjoy.
Episode 1.
Oh, dang. Now I feel really shitty now.
Holding us up on that first.
Yeah, Grant kind of holding it back. Thank you guys for being here, though. It's awesome to have you both.
Thank
DJ
you.
Omaur Bliss, DJ, MC, producer, rapper, fitness educator. Is that right?
Guru.
I guess so.
Fitness guru?
Yeah.
And then Grant Jones, we got MC, DJ, comedian, and game show host. And I've seen you guys do your thing, so I know it's good. So just wanted to say thanks for being here. There's a lot of exciting stuff that you guys are doing and that we've all been a part of. And yeah, we're excited to just chat with you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us today.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about like what you guys have been doing like this last year here. So I know you're working on some stuff together. Have you guys been working together? Like,
I feel like the last year was one of those years that the most important part was, I'm going to say this, sticking the landing. And what do I mean? Grant and I came from other companies and other sources, and this is from the pandemic where we sort of kind of met with another company and formed a bond. I basically, pre-pandemic, had a business under Rhodey Stark, but it looked different. It was mostly weddings. We were doing some private parties and some fitness stuff. A little bit more loosey-goosey, not as organized. And then, of course, we went through a horrible world-changing event where a lot of things were stripped down. And from that, it was interesting. I had to let go of all the other people I was working with, but I came in contact with Grant. I came more in contact with just Jessica started coming into my world more.
During the pandemic?
We actually met.
That's interesting.
Yeah, when did you guys meet?
I'd probably say it was during the pandemic because I didn't really. I started connecting with Brian around George Floyd's murder and that whole situation.
Gotcha.
And so really, I would say 2020 as like things were just the world was.
Everything was on fire.
Everything.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Our whole city, you mean?
Fire.
Yeah, actually, our whole city was
intended,
burned down.
Our industry, the world.
Like, I was just like, okay, I, at that point, was working to move into another industry because I was like, well, looks like events ain't it.
Right.
I thought it was Teflon until
we were until global pandemic, right?
I remember you going to school for programming.
Yep. Computer
So
programming.
you were going to switch all together 100%, like all in on something else kind of
all
thing?
in on something else, and now I just do everything.
He just added
No, you
another
just
one,
did it all, yeah.
another one to the list.
And another one.
That's awesome. So that's cool. And Grant, you've been doing like DJing, MCing.
Yeah, I kind of had my start on Carnival Cruise Line. That's when I really honed my craft of really DJing and hosting. And then I met with Brian. I was doing polar plunges. So I'm from Illinois, so I was kind of, taking flights and doing a couple of polar plunges. And I'm like, I'm not jumping in the water.
I was going to say polar plunge, like the jumping in the ice water bath.
I had the microphone in my hand, so there was no way that I was going to get electrocuted or even get below 32 degrees. I was bundled up.
Because it was cold.
It was cold.
It'd be cold out there.
This was it was for Special Olympics, and I'm pretty sure one of my first was White Bear Lake or something.
White Bear Lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay, you both have referenced Brian though. Who is that
Yeah.
for context?
Brian is from a company, Mic Drop Entertainment,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
Brian does great work with Special Olympics Minnesota. So if he's listening to this, shout out to Brian.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Yeah, and Brian was a great connector of us two. So
absolutely.
It's cool.
So how did you actually start working together, you guys?
Ooh, this is interesting. I think kind of with even with Mic Drop Entertainment, we started doing game shows, right?
Game shows, yep.
Virtually, right? And so I think I always talk about how sometimes bad news can turn into good news, right? And what I mean by that is when the world shut down, it gave us opportunity to go virtual. So we're talking to people from TikTok to Twitter to Yahoo, people that we normally wouldn't have contact with, but they were like, yeah, we're looking for ways to really get people involved. Why? How can we get people involved while being at home, right? So we're like virtual game shows. So that's when I met him, and we started working with Mic Drop, and we started saying, oh, we're onto something here, right?
So that was like for events?
Yeah, for events. So we did one with Black Twitter, and we were doing game shows like Jeopardy, Family Feud, and everything like that.
Did one for Verizon as well.
Verizon, yeah. So these big companies.
Huge companies, yeah.
One thing that me and Omaur were talking about is like, you know what? When live events come back, we got to do this like for real, right? So that's where we kind of
change the model slightly from what we're doing.
Absolutely. And you can talk about that for a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, we liked the game show aspect, but we really looked at things like Nick Cannon is brilliant. He came out with this thing called Wild and Out. Wild and Out is like an improv show, a game show, and some other stuff combined, and you just are not ready for what's going to happen in the show, because it could be a lip sync battle, it could be a freestyle battle, it could be like you just don't know, and so the whole audience is like oftentimes like, what's going to happen next? But that was part of the fun. And so what we decided is like, hey, what if we take some of these game shows that we've experienced and some of that and this DJ thing that we've been doing with it, but then start to punch up the comedy, punch up the unexpected, add dancers, whatever else we can think of to throw in the mix to really make something where people aren't just like, okay, we know what's coming next.
Yeah.
They don't know what's coming next.
Well, it's outside of. Go ahead.
We don't know what's coming next.
I was just going to say, it sort of reminds me, I mean, everything like a lot of times is cyclical, things come back around. It's sort of like the old school variety shows, right?
Exactly
it's like Sonny
like
and Cher.
exactly.
It's like for the new age, for Black Twitter. Like,
Exactly. Yes.
You get it. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a little outside of the norm for like a typical flow of an event where you get a little taste of everything. Because I've got the pleasure of like working with you guys on a few of your game show things, and it's fun.
We love having you guys.
Yeah, so, it's a lot of fun though. Like you're getting like the best of all worlds, because you get a little comedy, you get like the DJ element, you get some dancing, so you're really seeing kind of it all. And like compared to like a typical event where you're like, you might get like a dance at the end of a program, like you guys are bringing it like the whole kit and caboodle basically.
And
but
part of what we want to get away from is like a typical structure, like okay, here's the cocktail section, and then we have some jokes, ha ha ha, and then we have our speech, and then we transition to dinner, and now a DJ formally asks us to join us on the dance floor or the band. We wanted something that, okay, you don't know what's coming next, so you can't just have your guard up. You just got to be in the moment.
Yeah.
A little disruptive to like kind of the patterns that people are used to. I feel like, especially if you're somebody who goes to a lot of events or like us is at a lot of events, like you know what's coming next, right? It's really easy to check out when you know what's coming next too. So it keeps you engaged and a little more interested in things, which I think is cool.
Yeah. At one point we were talking about how, think about the Tonight Show, right? Where they have that banter. I forgot the guy's name with Jimmy Fallon, but he's always leaning on the post, right? And he's always cracking jokes. And me and Omaur are like, they're onto something right there, right? What if we took like a concept like the Tonight Show, right? And then we mix it in like a show like Wild and Out or In Living Color, right? Where you get some roadie dancers coming out of nowhere. Like, where did they come from? They're, oh, wow. Now the audience feels like they're part of the show. They feel like they're part of the game show. And that's what we're bringing to the Twin Cities, where we don't see a lot of that, but we're trying to be different, and we are different. So I like every step we're doing. So, and
you literally make them part of the show too, which is fun.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, interaction's crucial, especially with the short attention spans. Like,
yes,
people only have the capabilities of sitting down, chilling on one thing for like 3, 4, 5 minutes or whatever it is. So it's cool that you like break it up with all these different things. But
them dance breaks, man, you got to get those
dance
breaks in there.
Yeah, wake people up. Oh yeah,
you know? I mean, and if they're going to be on their phone, at least hopefully they're like taking photos and video instead of just like doom scrolling, you know, like getting sucked into it.
Yeah. And that again, I feel like where we start to doom scroll is when we're in this place of, and this is going to sound awful to say, but we've now become a society of boredom.
Yeah.
We get bored, we're going to doom scroll. We disengage, we get on our phone and we scroll. We feel like we things are like, oh, no one's connecting with me, we start to scroll. And so part of the back hope of this is to maybe get some connection, get you to vibe with people around you, you know?
I think anytime anybody feels like any like glimmer of discomfort in a social setting these days, like that's your immediate go-to.
Oh,
right?
yeah, like your buddy has to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Hang out for 2 seconds. Yeah, you're on your phone because you don't want to look like you're just standing there around.
Right.
Like,
No.
But it takes away all these opportunities for people to talk to each other and like connect and get to know each other. And like, I feel like this is terrible and I do not smoke anymore, but that used to be like one of the nice things about like if you're a smoker and you step outside, you're all standing together, you have something in common, you have like a reason to talk to some. Yeah, exactly.
The circle was a great place to meet people.
Yeah.
I remember being a smoker. Like I met a lot of people. Like at First Avenue, you go outside.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for
You
sure.
gotta talk to someone. It's cold AF. There's the heater right there. You're smoking a cigarette next to him. You're gonna talk to him.
And if you want to like make a little move, you can ask for a lighter, you know, like.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that was just my move.
What, was that your hustle?
That's a move.
Just
I'm sure. It can go either way. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
No, not Tinder. First Avenue cigarette area. Trust me on this, ladies. Even if you don't smoke, just go there.
That's hilarious. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Omaur, you and I met like
Years ago.
we met kind of through music, which was
Yeah.
kind of cool. I was playing in some bands, and I was like hitting an Omaur up and be like, "Bro, I got like $100. Can you come and DJ this thing? And I'm gonna throw a party." And dude was like, "I'll be there." And it was awesome.
Well, part of it was I think you knew this from Freddie, but I at that time was coming from a whole different life of being a front man in a band and a touring band and a pretty popular band around town. And so after that whole thing sunset, it was good to just play music where I wasn't the focus.
What was your frontman role?
I was a rapper for a long
You were
time.
a rapper.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bars.
Spitting bars, dude.
Mhm.
Spitting bars.
Do you still spit?
You know what's funny? I have a couple people who are like, of course, in their mid-40s like me, and they'll pull up and be like, Omaur Bliss, oh my God, you still rap. And I'm like, I'm really good with these hands now, I gotta admit. But, rap-wise, I've done a few shows over the years. I'm starting to play with more freestyle because I realize, A, it's fun. B, it can add on to what I'm doing because that former life, when I did it, I really did it. So if I can bring some of that energy back into what I'm doing now, I think that it's taking already what I offer to the next level. And I am interested in whatever I'm doing, taking it to the next level. How can I amplify? Like, oh my God, you're really good at DJing. You're technically a good DJ. How can I take that to the next level? Oh, you're a good MC. How can I take that to the next level? You know?
Yeah. You got the energy too. You guys both have it. Like even like yourself, like when we were doing the thing a couple weeks back, getting ready for the show, you're just on the mic, so comfortable, and it's really cool to see just because like I watch like a lot of comedy. Like, are you familiar with the Kill Tony podcast by chance? It doesn't matter, but I watch a lot of it.
Sure, it's funny.
You saw the eyes go.
99% of people get on a microphone and they just they fold up.
Yeah.
But like you were like beatboxing and just going hard, and it was all like,
for sure.
How did you like find that comfortability like in all this?
Yeah, so I mean, my background, I grew up in church. I was like a PK. I'm more spiritual now.
Oh, okay.
But
I have no question. I get it all.
Makes sense.
Y'all know how PKs are. You know, the pastor saying you can't be over at Augie's and everything on Saturday
No,
and
sir.
then be saying
You in that
hallelujah.
front pew.
Like choir type stuff?
Choir,
and just,
everything
like,
dancing. So I've always been in front of a crowd, always been comfortable.
Pastor's kid.
You gotta be on.
Oh, you're a
gotta be
pastor's
on
kid?
all the- well,
Yeah, PK.
my dad's retired nowadays, so but
Oh,
yeah,
that's what
Yeah,
PK.
pastor's
Yeah,
kid.
PK.
is
I was like
first in
pre-K.
line.
Or like started at pre-K. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so with that, it's just like I've always been in that space where I was singing, where I was dancing. Me and him always joke around because when I first partnered up with him, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm like you're like Batman," and I'm like Robin. He's like, "Wait, let me just pause you right there. You're an equal, man. We're a partner. We're in this together." So he called me like more like the
Yeah,
Flash,
I'm not
right?
down with
So-
the whole
Flash.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
Flash is
You
the
know what I'm
fastest
saying.
guy
Yeah, collaboration
around, but he's
and not-
always like the last one there, right? You know what I mean? So Tony Stark and then Peter Parker, you know, it's a good vibe because he has a lot of gems. So it makes it that much easier to just be in my lane where he's DJing, he's hyping me up. It encourages me to be that ultimate entertainer that I call myself because he's already done it before. He sees a lot of himself in me and vice versa. So it's a cool. Batman got all the gizmos, just like Omar got all the stuff and everything, and I'm just like, cool, be there in the Flash.
No, you got a lot of tricks up your
Well, not
sleeve.
such a Flash today.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, right. But think about it. Have you not seen the Flash show? He's late to everything.
Yeah.
Literally, because he's doing so much and everyone's
No,
taking
he's
advantage.
late to his personal life. He is on point for everything else.
save the world.
This
I mean, he
fool
kinda has to be on
catching
time.
people-
You
catching people fall
yeah,
out
you
of
came in
windows,
on
late to his
time.
own appointment.
Today was no exception.
Mm-hmm. Same thing with Peter Parker. I mean, how many times is he late? You know what I mean? To
In his
everything.
personal life, just
In his
be
personal
always
life.
on time for work.
I think that we all can say, and I'm never mad about being late because
Because you're the one that's late.
I'm often late.
Same.
And
yeah.
part of it is when you are really, I mean, there's an expression a friend of mine, John Mum, has, is brick by brick. He used to be a trainer, and it's really that. You're building things brick by brick, and because you're doing that yourself, you are going to be tight on time always. You're going to beg, borrow, and steal time. Time is going to be both your friend and your enemy. It depends on what second it is and how that falls, right? It's just the way it is. So
I think too, like in our industry, and maybe this is just my excuse, but because we're so like relationship based, right? Like everything is about relationships. So like if I'm trying to leave one thing to go to the next thing, I have the hardest time disengaging from things and like getting out of a room or like leaving a building because
spit into the mic.
get right
hot
up
flames.
in there.
Get up in there.
I just have a really hard time ending conversations or like, especially if you're having like a good like creative flow or like interesting conversation. It's like, I don't want to stop this flow. I want to keep going. And then I'm like, oh, I'm like 20 minutes late. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, here we go. So,
And it's so hard because of that. But at the same time, I feel like I was talking with Gretchen about this.
Gretchen Culver of Rocket Science.
Oh yes.
Yeah, okay, just making
the
sure.
great Gretchen.
Gretchen the
Love
Great.
her so much. Love that lady so hard. So one thing I realized that we're all in, and I can say this to everyone at this table in this room, there's really a bunch of unicorns here. And what does that mean? It is very hard to be creative and business oriented at the same time because they are constantly
I'm looking at Alex over there.
in conflict. They will always be in conflict. And you have to resolve that conflict in the weirdest of ways. And so there is part of you that is relational, and that relationship, that creative side, helps the business. People want to connect with brands they believe in. They don't care about, they will justify it by the logic, but they have to connect with brands they believe in. They will give you a lot of money for that because they believe in it. Like, that's literally why my business is built. I make people feel calm when they work with me. That's it.
And you give them that sense of like authority. They know that you're going to take care of business. Like you're not going to let them down. Building that is so important.
That's it. That's it. That's the secret sauce right there.
Yep.
Did you bring up Gretchen because I know during the fear, failure, and fucking up conversation,
Yeah.
didn't you have something happen to like your equipment or something, and you like pulled through last second and you made it all happen?
Well, this is not last second. This is always being prepared.
Right.
Being prepared for the worst case scenario will mean you will be victorious no matter what.
Sure.
We had a new mix board I said, hey, bring our analog board just in case we have an issue with this new mix board, because it's great with new technology when it works. When it does not, it will leave you stranded. Frustrated. Now, I also am one of those weirdos that I additionally bring an even smaller board that is like, absolutely, we shit the bed. This is what we got. But the analog board worked. We had a problem with that new board. It took us 5 minutes to route all of the stuff from that new board into the analog board. What did we lose? The ability to walk around with our iPad. Were we able to still play the show, access our mics, everything else? Absolutely.
This was for Sarah's wedding?
Yep, this was for Sarah's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So,
and
shout
part
out.
of
contact Sarah Johnson of Machine Shop when she got married over there.
Oh, shout out.
And this is I love Sarah. Sarah's the first person that someone told me, you told me to contact Sarah.
I did. Oh.
When everything went to shit in the first part of the pandemic. You were like my only friend, real friend in this industry. And you were like, no.
You have friends in the industry.
I had friends who I didn't contact because I didn't feel like I could contact them.
Okay,
Colleagues.
fair.
I for people, and that's another lesson, in all of it. A closed mouth don't. We talked about this, right?
Yeah.
A closed mouth don't get fed, right?
Yep. If you don't ask for it, nobody's gonna give it to you.
And I wasn't asking for it because I didn't think I was worthy. And then all of a sudden, I had a friend say, "No, contact Sarah.
And you are worthy.
You are worthy.
Yes,
she'll help you." And Sarah wasn't able to drop like money in my bucket right away. But what Sarah did do is drop money in my bucket in the long term and connect me in with a community that is really my friend base, and a great friend base. So it's not just about making money. That's actually the cool side thing we get to do, right?
Yeah.
These people are just awesome to hang around and ask questions like, when you're frustrated and you're trying to figure out what do you do in your own business, here's this whole community of people who know you're a part of that. You're a part of that. Grant's a part of that. That's what's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like, when we were talking about the fear, failure, and fucking up conversation for context, also was the idea program that we had in September.
God, was it September?
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, was it? Yeah, it's been a minute.
And I felt like you had a lot of really good things to bring to the table.
Oh, you had it.
I fuck up a whole lot.
Yeah, but you can also like.
I was like, I'm just gonna stop talking and let Omaur talk. 'Cause I had like no examples.
Some real gems.
I was like last to be added, I guess. I was like, I didn't have enough time to prep. No, just kidding.
That's not true.
I mean,
maybe it's true. I don't remember.
The person who's watched it back like 15 times, you were pretty solid on it.
You were solid.
Oh,
we have a video of it. We'll put that out eventually. We got to figure that out. It's been done for a minute.
By the way, is any of that stuff good enough to throw on a T-shirt? Because I'm trying to get to the bag in 2024.
Get some merch out here.
A picture of you on the mic or what?
No, like his quotes, his gems.
Oh, your quotes.
Yeah. Can we throw that
market that?
Honestly,
can we get some dollars? Like
a couple mugs.
Not a lot of dollars. Like maybe like tens of dollars.
Tens.
We can
get some.
Can I get you
zeros behind it?
Yeah, I'll take a little more.
Pass that over.
Maybe just like
I'll
a
get it going.
JMO soda, like
I'll get you guys.
JMO light, heavier soda.
Careful, if you give him more drinks, he's gonna come up with more ideas. So just keep that in mind.
I'm like that gremlin. By the way, for those who remember gremlins, I had this conversation. Someone did not know what a gremlin was, and I felt really
because you made a reference about after midnight or something, and they were like,
or some water
I
or something.
Get it.
I made water or after, and they were like,
what does that mean?
I was like, oh,
never mind.
Okay.
Something that you guys, I have to press the button. Hold on. So something that you guys were talking about like being late is because like a lot of the times, because we're social people, have to talk to or are in the middle of conversations and talking to each other. And I think one of the big things to point out, it is the event industry, and the event industry is kind of dedicated to the social aspect of each person, because an event is a group of people coming together for some reason, either people or a business. And so it is very important that those who are in charge of making the event happen have the ability to, and kind of responsibility to have that time to communicate to one another. And
Absolutely.
and in the end, it really does pull away time because you don't have enough of it.
Seriously.
No, there's never enough time. And also just like making those connections, I feel like not everyone that's in the event industry is really extroverted or really like wants to talk to everybody, but I think that overwhelmingly so it is. And we're excited to be there. We're excited to be part of it. Like, none of us are probably getting into this because we're making millions off of it. So, you're there like...
You got a chain on. I don't
have... you got those tens of dollars in our pocket.
That's a nice chain over there.
Appreciate it.
I'm not going to lie.
Jackson, those commercials got me.
This is where I take a dark turn. Are you guys ready for this?
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
I am I would say this, I'm a raging capitalist, but an ethical capitalist, I would say.
Okay.
And, excuse me, one of the things, you don't want to hear that.
That's that first
That's gross, man.
The gremlin's out.
Yeah, someone gave me the water, the true water.
Mix it in post. It's all right.
Thanks.
No, but I think that one of the things that I found to be amazing about the events industry is there is no other industry where you don't need a college education. Most
True.
of us,
True.
there is no education for
We're
what we do
uneducated.
at straight
Experience.
except for experience and really understanding the product and understanding the psychology of people.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not to be underestimated how effective that is, and the power that folks in the event industry have to either be able to take someone's corporate concept of a product or a brand or a launch and make it a reality and something that is a lasting impression upon either the folks that they are trying to get to sell this product or the actual consumer. So, like, I mean, for lack of better words, we are worth more, and I'm learning this every single day. We're worth more than what we charge.
Absolutely.
So I challenge folks, why not have $1 million brand as an event professional?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's out there, and people are willing to give you that money because of that expertise.
I think that the word you use, professional, is like the important part of that. Like, this is something that I'm super passionate about and really care, is like the professionalization of our industry, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we're not here to make things pretty. We're not here to make things fun. It's a byproduct of us knowing what we're doing and creating experiences and making like opportunities for people to sell their things, opportunities for people to like, be in celebration, be in community. Like, the pandemic taught us a lot of things, right? And some people like how to make bread or whatever, but it also taught us that, like,
Tiger King shout out.
I'm done.
That it taught us that like you cannot replicate that sense of community and that sense of connection through a computer, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's just some of it we could make do, some of it we've carried on, some of it was like important lessons of things that we can incorporate into our world now, but it didn't change the fact that we still want that community and we want that connection.
Yeah, and you guys talked on a lot of good points, and I just want to piggyback back to the relationship part, right? So literally, I was just on a call with like with a wedding couple. They were trying to figure out a DJ, right? I was like, how did you guys hear about me? Oh, a photographer that she had so many great things to say about you, right? I, as an entertainer, I know Omaur, you do a great job as well too. I make it so like when we step into that venue and I'm like, hey, I introduce myself. My name's Grant. If you need anything, if you need to hide away your like photography gear underneath the table, I got enough table. If you need anything, we all have to be on the same page to make sure that this bride and groom are going to have the best time of their life. Yeah. And they remember those moments. And the more psychology I thought about it, I was like, yeah, if I think about it, if I'm killing the DJ and I'm doing everything, they're getting great shots, because how many photographers have to leave like around like 9:30 or 10? They got to get those shots right away. Right. And it's part of our job, how we're all connected. We have to make sure from the jump that they are living the best life.
Give them a reason to stay past 9 o'clock when their like end time is or whatever. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Relationships are so key in this industry. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's like the best referrals. I would rather get referrals from like people in the industry any day, and also it's like a little bit more qualified at that point too, which is nice.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Foundation's good.
Yeah.
You guys send me stuff, it's murder in the streets. Straight up.
Yeah.
We are going to make sure this event goes over the moon because it reinforces your voice. Your voice. And it gives you the ability to further sell what we do. It's this weird thing. Like Esteban has been key for this. The things that he has mentioned, like that Edina Realty thing, that's going to be huge for us. And it's not just because people think, oh, you got a huge check, that's great. I'm like, no. We got to put together a band configuration that we've never seen before. We got to have our people come in and take shots of it. We got to capture that moment.
Are you talking about a specific event?
Yeah, that Edina Realty event that you suggested for us. This is recently.
Okay.
And it wasn't even, this is the beautiful thing about the community. And I have to give you a shout out for this.
Appreciate it, man.
Because this wasn't even Lowlands, at which anything there I'm pulling up regardless of what the budget is. Like, you can pay me in tacos, and if it helps you guys out, great. Because what you did was you gave us a client, Edina Realty, that had a really good experience with us, and we were able to build our brand with something that we can now put in front of you, the planner, and go, wow, I didn't know I had this option. How was I able to build this thing? Because this client asked for this thing, and no other client asked for this thing before. Now that we have this thing, and I can go, here's this thing to you. It's a 10-piece band with a DJ. It's all these compartments. We have a horn section and everything, and it breaks apart like this. Now you want that, and you want to push it on to your clients. So again, it's this community.
Yeah, and we're talking about like,
man.
The thing you're talking about is like the hybrid band, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's like the DJ front man with instruments and all that, right? And horns and.
Yep. It's the hybrid band with the DJ and the instruments, but we really envision the hybrid band and Roadie's Playhouse as being like one huge mix, right?
Gotcha,
so
yep.
think of
The Tonight Show with the Roots.
Yeah.
Tonight Show with the Roots.
That's really what it is. I got you.
great.
See?
Yeah.
Flash has got your Batman's back. I got you.
Yeah, you know.
Spent too much time in the Batcave. I got you.
Exactly. So we don't think of entertainment as being, okay, we had a DJ and now the DJ's over and here's the comedian and now the comedian's over and here's some crazy dancers.
Breaking the
look
cycle
at
again.
them.
Yeah.
We think of this as one cohesive unit from the moment you walk in to the moment you walk out. And that's really what we're reaching for in entertainment. That's a little bit different and a little bit like, most people are like, oh, I walk in, I go sit down in my theater seats, they say the show starts, here's the curtains. We're like, no, the moment you walk in, you're now a part of the show.
Love
The
that.
moment you get to your seats, we're building that anticipation, and we're wrapping all of this experience around you. And so what we want you to take away, and really with Roadie's Playhouse, you're like, I didn't expect any of that stuff to happen. I was up dancing, and I wasn't expecting that. I didn't come here. It wasn't a dance party in my mind, but somehow we're dancing, and there's dancers in the middle of the aisle dancing with us. And then there was like this weird box that came out with boas.
Play the clip.
I was gonna say this was
we
not
probably
the one
have a
I
clip
went
of this.
to.
No,
that-
this was the second one.
Okay.
See, the thing
I
is,
missed that one.
Yeah, you missed it.
it's not cookie cutter. We don't know what happens each one.
Oh,
Well,
you gotten
that's
better
part of
every
the
time I've
fun.
seen you guys do this too. It's gotten like increasingly better. Like, and that's awesome to see, like the progress and just like seeing it evolve.
Yeah.
Because it's
If
like,
you think of the name, like Roadie's Playhouse, inspired by Pete.
Pee
know?
Wee, yeah, Pee Wee Herman.
In the
R.I.P.
show, you
So
just
they
never
great.
knew what was gonna happen. Like, what was it, Lawrence Fishburne? It was the mailman
Oh,
or something like that.
yeah.
And like, it's just like,
It was
hey,
wild.
Pee Wee, what's going on? And like, the word of the day is Roadie's Playhouse. Yeah, so that's how we're going for it. Each time you come to the show, there's a different element. The very first one you went to, that was, I believe, at Can Wonderland.
Yep.
And so we were just like playing, okay, get on your phones, vote who you want to see go next. The next one is a Christmas edition. He's wearing ugly sweaters. I'm looking good in a suit, of course, but
that was a tight green suit.
Yeah, it really was really tight.
That was fresh.
I need
I
to
went
go a size
ugly,
up.
you went crisp. I mean, I had to take the hit.
The first one that you did at Can that I was at, I loved it because when you got to vote and like see who went next, and you could tell that like the performers it was like happening on the spot, right? And like, but the way that they like really ran with it, like, so Katie Vernon, she did that song about being broke, and it was.
She had no idea about that song beforehand, by the way.
No, that was good, though.
It was
so
improv, good. It was
100%.
all improv, but it was so good. It was so like, but you could tell it was improv. Like, you knew it was improv, and she just killed it. And it was the funniest thing ever. I ran into her actually like recently, and I was like, I just need to tell you I was there, and that was so funny. And she goes, yeah, I was like not prepared at all. She's like, I just made that up on the fly. She's like, but it worked. And it's like, she's like, and also I was broke. So like,
it was real.
That's the power of it. We don't know what's going to happen in the show. No one does. We are the authors of the show, and we can't tell you what's
choose your own adventure.
It's a choose your own adventure variety show, and that's the big twist about it. That's what makes it fun.
Alex wants to jump in.
Okay, wait. Not because I've just been watching it back so many times. Are
we talking back to Katie Vernon?
Yeah, Katie Vernon.
You love her.
She's
loved her.
Incredible.
She is incredible.
Wait, so you're okay?
Yeah,
you
was
keep
no,
saying
rehearsed.
that none of it was not rehearsed, but like, did she have that song written at all?
Nope.
She just
She
every single word was made up. She had no idea.
We didn't have an idea of what the topic would be. It's random, bro.
Wait.
It's random.
Sorry, I know it's taking me a minute.
Do we have a clip of that?
Oh, you
song?
thought it was
Because,
scripted?
Like, we have.
I'm sure if you guys
actually,
have this
yeah,
podcast,
we can cut it in maybe like right now.
Cut that mug in.
Cut it in.
Just
So
snip it.
Cut.
It's such a shame. I'm just here singing a sad song at a game.
That was too good.
And we're back.
And it was just as good the second
We'll cut it
time.
in. Yep.
Or the 30th for
but
you.
wait,
I don't know.
so I assumed as audience, and like me being around magic tricks sometimes, I'm always like, well, here's the trick that they have a preset number of songs that they've already written, and you're gonna randomly generate from those songs. It's entirely random, and you guys
It's
are
entirely improv, bro.
Yeah, and that's the thing about
Straight from.
Oh, that's funny. It's funny that you actually thought that was
I
scripted.
100% thought all of it was scripted.
No.
No.
I thought it was like a
Juice's
butterfly
whole
effect.
thing
There's
was
like
not scripted at all.
This was very funny.
There's
too.
no way you would know. We can show
Little,
that clip too, where he had to serenade somebody. Luckily, his wife was
His
in the
wife,
building.
right?
Yeah, I was
Thankfully,
like,
his
hey,
wife was
yeah,
there.
I was gonna
trying
say.
to get you hemmed up.
Yeah, right.
I mean, well, a comedian, you usually have a few like back pocket
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, of course,
You're
for sure.
maybe riffing on them and stuff, but so I would say that was maybe be the most like scripted.
For
part of
Katie,
it.
she might have had that chord already, but then she had to go off the dome, right? Kind of like a rapper, right?
Well,
like give you
she
a
had-
beat.
Oh yeah.
And
Part of why we built this show is we know some people are going to crash and burn. That's why you get 1 minute to do it, right? We don't know what's going to come up, and that's part of the point. We're so used to a script and wanting to know where we're going next, even though everyone in a corporate setting, you go to your corporate event, you know what's about to happen. They literally sent you the outline. This is not that. What we want you to do is to get out of that brain, to have a moment where you can just drop all of the I know what's coming and be an actual human. Be in the moment for a second. All in good fun, of course. And then have an experience that's something unique. That's why each one of these Roadies Playhouses, or even what the Sessions does, the Sessions name is literally the Sessions because each session is different.
We do have a clip of the sessions.
Oh, we'll cut that in right here too.
Look at
cut
that.
it in.
I mean, I could
Oh,
play it right
yeah,
now.
no, let's cut that in actually.
Yeah.
Let's
Like,
he
even-
did a thing. Did you guys see the edit he made?
Huh?
He edited like a little short for you guys.
I need
Well,
to see that actually.
you haven't
Cut
seen
that
it.
in.
All right, let's
Sorry,
cut it in.
watch-
Slice
Cut
it
that
on.
in.
3, 2, 1. Smack.
Okay.
No, look at the screen behind you.
There's a screen behind you, right here.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at
It's on
that.
black.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my.
Bro, I need this like yesterday.
Sizzle reel.
I need this like yesterday.
Alex is like, I sent it to him, but I was like, I don't think you did.
Oh, bro, this is a vibe, yo. Oh, bro, come on.
Yes. Oh.
And for anyone who is like watching, that's from the Crave rebrand event that
is
was
from the
like
Crave
a month or two
rebrand
ago. Yep.
event, and I have to give you guys a shout out. Like, man, you guys were like Johnny spot on, and really just took a lot of concepts that I had in the brain and just decided, hey, we're down with this. And that's a big shout out. That's the power of the community.
Yeah.
That's why I say, again, putting back on my raging capitalist hat, there's no reason in this room why we as a collective can't go get these big checks, $5 million like businesses, because we have the talent, and increasingly that is what is useful, is the creative talent. So
This episode is sponsored by IMAV, an innovative and leading audiovisual company based in the Twin Cities. If you're looking to elevate your next event, all you have to do is reach out to the team at IMAV. They'll put together a package that not only fits your budget, but takes your event to the next level. IMAV strives to not only be a resource, but an asset to the success of your event. Whether you need video, audio, or lighting, the professionals at IMAV can execute and run your meeting or event flawlessly. Their team is a dream to work with and always deliver a final product that leaves guests blown away. Find them online at imav.pro. Use promo code EVENTLIFE when you contact them to receive 30% off all equipment rentals for your first event. Again, go to imav.pro to lock in the best audiovisual vendor for your next event.
I'm going to step off my soapbox now.
No. Okay, so going back, let's go back a little ways. You talked about worthiness. Like, especially coming out of the pandemic, you didn't feel worthy. And as like an artist, you know what I mean? Like, I think we all experience that on like sometimes a daily, but like,
Right.
talk a little bit about like, go a little deeper on that, like the worthiness, like
I think the worthiness,
the ups and downs.
there's a thing, like, so I ride a couple different lanes, like, and I think that these lanes are sort of kind of, there's a lot of things that overlap. So in the event industry, and also if you are a technology developer, you have an area of imposter syndrome. And the imposter syndrome doesn't mean that you're not qualified to do the job. You just feel unworthy. And part of that unworthiness is the unsettling feeling that I don't know everything that I need to know to do this job. And that is a thief of joy. Someone, and I think like all of us have seen this quote, like comparison is a thief of joy.
Yeah.
That's where we're at when we're in imposter syndrome. We're comparing ourselves to someone who is 10, 20, 15, millions of years down the lane that we are trying to go to, and we're right at where we're at.
Yeah.
I had to eventually go, rather than do that, step away from that. Be okay with asking for help. Be okay with reaching out to people who have done this longer.
Yeah.
And be okay with listening.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex and I were talking a little bit about this earlier too, and it's like, stop comparing yourself to like what dude's doing over here. Compare yourself to like yourself yesterday. You know what I mean? If you can just like work on that 1% better every day or every week or every month.
That's the true comparison.
That's the true comparison.
Only comparison
100%. Yep.
Well, and I think too that like what we do often, there's obviously things that you can measure, right? There's dollars you can measure, there's numbers you can measure, but for the most part, it's pretty like qualitative, right? Not quantitative.
Right.
So, it's second guessing, like, is my instinct on this right? The way that I'm, building out this show, is it going to like entertain people? Is it going to feel right? Is the room flow going to be good? Am I missing something? Am I going to fuck this up?
Are we talking about this show right now?
We
were like, oh shit.
Right now.
You know what? I feel like this could fit into anything you put, though.
Yeah,
what you
anything
just said.
creative. It's just
100%.
like it's. Is this going to be? Are people going to like me?
Yeah.
Are people going to like this?
Are you really going to like me? And that is what it boils down to.
The self-doubt, all that. Yeah, for sure. It's yeah.
I was looking at a quote today, and then just the part where you said being uncomfortable because you're stepping into that new field. You might be in with a new brand, new company. It's bigger. For me, we talked about like me DJing like towards the Super Bowl and stuff like that for the weekend.
This guy's about to roll out the Super Bowl, by the way.
Hey.
Where's that? Where are you going?
We're going to be in Mandalay, and it's very similar to you guys. They're actually called Event Live.
Bastards.
Entertainment.
Send them I'll give you a cease and desist to take with you.
But we'll be at Mandalay Convention Center. But what I was talking about with my friend, I was like, man, like I've done big things like Carnival. I worked with Verizon, I worked with Twitter, and I get imposter syndrome, right? Because I'm just like, whoa, this is Super Bowl, be hosting a bunch of people. And I'm like, dude, just remind yourself you've been here before. There's a quote by Mark Ramsey. He said, greatness is always on the other side of inconvenience. And so you have to have that uncomfortability to grow, right? You're going to always have that new next level. Think about Mario. I'm a big Mario fan, right? With my analogies, I'm a nerd, right?
Are you talking about like
Super Mario?
I know,
Yeah, we're about to get deep.
Oh shit! Which one? Mario Bros?
Oh, we're talking about
original
on the NES. Yes,
okay,
like so.
Original.
You know how you have to figure out certain things in World 1, right?
Yeah.
And so when you get to World 2,
deep.
you can't do the same thing you were doing in World 1. You have to learn how to hold down that B button, then press A to jump higher, right? So there's always going to be something that you have to learn from your past experiences. And so I think I was just talking to my friend the other day about we live in a society where everything's sped up, right? We don't have time to just reflect and sit down and just think about all the stuff we've done and be like, dude, you're worthy of that. Look at what you just did right there. They wouldn't have sent me to the Super Bowl if I wasn't ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
100%.
It's 100%. That's the biggest, one of the biggest stages out there, right? So for me to say like, oh, you're not worthy of, like, wait a minute, somebody else is thinking I'm worthy. Like even if I don't think about it, somebody is seeing something that I can't see myself right now. And so what I need to do is just sit some time down and just be reflective, write down my thoughts, and really just sit in that moment. Just look at all the stuff you've done over the years. So I'm not gonna cry. I just got something in my eye, but
no,
yeah,
dude,
sure.
that hits. I think that reflects with every single person.
Yeah, for sure.
So out there, you're doing DJing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, nice.
Hosting
MCing and
yeah.
Yep, nice, cool. Yeah,
right before the big.
I was actually gonna say one thing because I give him a lot of smack for being younger, but you're in such a great place, and I wish I was in this place when I was in events. I was still like doing rap tours. In not fun places. But if
he's in the back of Circle K in the gas station
for $50 or whatever.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not. No, I mean, like, what are you, 31?
Yeah, 31.
Okay, so I was doing South by. That was like probably the coolest
I
thing I was doing there. But really, to have a vision, to understand where you are at in events and where this can go at such a young age is like, dude, that is impressive. Like, this didn't really dawn on me until like late 30s where I can go with this, and really meeting people like Jessica. And that was in 2014, I think.
Where did we meet? I was trying to think of that. So
this was a style architect's wedding with Rhythm Collective. I just started working with Elon as we were like literally recording studio guys who decided to switch to live stuff because we knew how to mix stuff and we needed money. That's it.
Those tens of dollars.
Elon had their own equipment. We managed their equipment. It was this super I can't remember it was like this line array Italian speakers, 2 thin sticks, and it was like basically trying to shove 10 pounds of a band in a 6-pound bag.
This is back in Aria days, yeah.
This was back in Aria days.
Okay.
So I met Castina via that.
Yep.
And then I met you, and I remember I had a partner at the time. I started Rody Stark with a partner. We were basically a recording studio unit before this, like strictly recording studio. Like this is where like we'd have like Lizzo was at our studio before she was Lizzo, Mod Son before he was Mod Son, like that sort of kind of thing, right? Where we were just in Minneapolis making mixtapes and shit. And then we flipped out to do these things. And eventually I just, like, that first event was Style Architects. And, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the specific one. But we've worked together on a lot of things. So it's, like, hard to remember.
That was one of the first ones. And then I had an Amy Zaroff event there. No. That was at a different event. Sorry, that was at... Amy Zaroff worked a lot at the MOA Marriott. Okay. And so those were the two where this was the introduction to this super luxury market. Yep. Before this, it'd be like Caboose.
The Triple Rock.
T-Rock. Yeah. Murdering that shit, yo.
The Nomad.
Nomad. Smells like piss and beer. We kill that place. And now we're like,
sticky.
We must hide all the cables with duct tape?
Like
duct tape.
What is that?
We call that gaff tape.
Yeah,
we call that gaff tape. No, yeah, dude.
No. At this time, it was duct tape because we didn't know, bro.
Gaff tape is expensive.
Well,
event planners beware. You might lose your gaff tape at your next event.
No.
Gaff tape is
this was like the first event
fair.
where we were like, oh, black gaff tape or black duct tape, that works. Then we learned about gaff tape.
And you're like all of my cords are just in one shot.
Yeah.
It's not like a rat
Our AV guys here are cringing at this.
Yeah, I know.
This was
Look, bro. This was in 2014. We were studio guys. Studio guys never gaff anything down because literally you're running wires behind walls.
Sure. You're picking it up like at the end of the session.
Idea.
Here's the thing.
And you hardwire everything. You don't.
All right, I hit it. Here's the thing. You make that mistake one time.
Exactly.
After you throw away all those cords and start
it's expensive mistake, and then you're like, maybe gaff tape is actually worth it.
It's worth it. Yes.
We quickly switched after that first one to gaff tape. It was literally like we fucked up hundreds of dollars of cords, and gaff tape is our solution.
Yeah, the gunk shit that's left on the cords. Never comes off.
You have to use acetate, like literal nail remover polish, and just like rub those cables like it is some weird obsession to get it off.
Oh man!
So we learned from that, and then we moved on. My partner eventually, him and his family moved on to Florida. I decided that this Elon gig was consistent money, and before this, like our big check was we actually did sound design. So me and him were like straight like Pro Tools nerds who made sound design for Honeywell. Like for a thermostat. Like stuff like that.
Can you do that one more time for us?
We gotta. Is there a real sound that you created that's out there for Honeywell right now?
It's probably buried in a hard drive that's like 10 to 15 years old, and it was on there is alpha and beta. We were on an alpha tested product. They decided to nix the alpha product. They still paid us out a bunch of money to create this sound design for this alpha tested product, and then that beta tested product became the Nest.
Oh, I got one of those.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. So I saw the Nest before it became the Nest because they were just.
What is it?
It's like the thermostat for your house. That's like, I don't know.
I've had it.
It plugs away from the wall. You can literally walk around. And
it's on my phone. I could like turn on the heat at my house right now.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So we were working for more of the sound design for alerts and certain things. Now, there's a lot of psychology to it. So it literally took us months to create 5 sounds.
Wow.
And they paid us a lot of money for it. But we were not getting those gigs left and right. Things we were getting like, hey, you guys know how to mix quality music. So here's this high-end band from New York, from Elon Artists, and they have some gigs here. They're building out this region. Come do this work. Yeah.
I do remember that when Elon was getting started here and they were just starting to build out things. And it was nice to see like something that was kind of upping the professionalism, upping that game, like giving us a different kind of
Well, because before that, it was bands who'd be like, after every song, all right, what you guys want to do? I don't know. What about you? Man, I don't know. What about that song? Like 30 seconds
of dead air. Yes.
Dead air. And Elon came in and they were like, bump, bump, bump.
Like it's like a real show. It's a show.
It was a show.
Yep.
And so people were like, yeah, they're costly, but we'll pay for it.
Right.
So
But it
I
was
was
worth
actually there and worked on the production for the first North Star band.
Okay, cool.
So for those people who now know of Elon North Star, like I was there during
That's how I remember meeting you.
all of the piecing of that. And that's what we did as our first like project. And so from that actually helped sort of kind of springboard my DJ career, because I left this touring road stuff and I decided, here's this great opportunity in this amazing market that pays me literally more than my whole band made on tour per gig.
Yeah, no, I think that the association there really connected and resonated too, because I remember people being like, yeah, dude, Omaur plays with Elon artists, man. It was like a big deal.
Yeah.
So it definitely like had a contribution to like the come up a little bit.
It's a lot of recognizing what someone is doing, and a lot of this is like, if it's weird because I think everyone at this table is really good at this, seeing what's happening and seeing how this trend could be pushed forward. And if you understand it enough and where your position is, it's literally like surfing, right? Too far ahead, the wave crashes on your head. Too far behind, you're not getting any push. Right in the middle of it, you're riding that sucker, and you can understand where it's going. The same with, again, where Roadie's Playhouse fits in and why the sessions were created, because these are things in the next few years people are going to come back to, because a variety show is not a new concept. The way we're doing it in some aspects is a little bit fresh and different, but a variety show and the general concept is not new, but it's something that people want to see again because they're not getting that. They're not getting that variety. They're just getting this thing and they want more.
And it's not the same every time. They could see you 10 times in a row and it'll be different every time, which is cool.
That makes it 21st century. We're all into customization, right?
It allows you to be creative.
Yeah, our whole world's now, you can customize everything.
You can customize everything.
It's why I can't do like a cover band thing, because I can't play the same 50 songs every week. I can't do that. I'm like too creative to like put myself in that box.
That's where the sessions wins, because the track's already covering the song. You get to create a new part.
You get to improv on it. Yeah, you're just jamming.
You're adding a new flavor to it that's different than last week. And we might play, like, there's some weeks where we play same songs, but we do them differently.
But you do them different.
They're stuck different places, and the transition is different, which is going to color the flavor of the song. So then, we did play Journey, Don't Stop Believing, but we played it 4 different ways.
Yeah. And you get a different reactions, different crowds, like different
exactly.
feedback. But the nice thing too is that you have like that even keeled, like, background to it. So it's not like, there's some bands, and I definitely am not going to name any names, but like where I'm just like, is this your first time playing together? Like, what is happening right now? Right?
Y'all seem really lost.
Like, is this your rehearsal? Because this is rough. But you've got like that base to keep it kind of even and moving forward. But being able to be fresh, and also like I imagine as someone who's doing it, it's more interesting. I personally, like, if I do something too many times, like the same way, I start to kind of phone it in a little. I'm just like, okay, it'll be like this, like whatever, it's close enough, like I don't care as much. And so if I get to put a little spin on it or be like fresh every single time, or do something like if I'm helping somebody plan an event and I get to do something that I have personally wanted to do or like think that would be cool or interesting, then I'm more interested in it. I'm more engaged, and I work harder, like realistically. So
I love that, because one of the things that me and him we mesh very well together, right? It's because we're so different and we built that relationship. So when we do Roadie's Playhouse, you have a comedian producing the show, right? So I can say, oh, what would make somebody tick? And then if you guys ever been to a comedy show, one thing is magic, right? When I can go stand in front of 100 people, and I don't know any strangers, right? And I can find a way to connect with them and find that meaning that we've all been broke before. None of us are Donald Trump. We have like trust fund babies or anything. Like we pretty much, for the most part, have all been broke. Where we are like, oh, that overdraft fee kind of screwed us over that month, right? So
that month.
when
That
you
one?
have,
One overdraft?
That should be like a snowball. Like, whoa, dog.
He's lived a little bit longer than me, so he knows a little bit more. But yes, what I'm getting to the fact is, when you collaborate and you have somebody that knows how to connect people together, you can bring people in like the sessions, right? And now we can make people feel connected through music. I think music is one of the greatest universal languages of all time, where
It's the very universal.
you could be Hispanic, you could be Asian, you could be black, you could be white, and then we're like, oh, but that beat though, yeah, you see, exactly, we're just jamming right
Everyone
now.
will sing it.
The power of DJing. So when you can put variety shows, game shows, the sessions all together, we're all like, he's looking at me like, bro, bars.
Bars.
No, that's awesome.
Hashtag bars.
So for like the upcoming Super Bowl thing that you're doing, like how do you go about like even creating that playlist? Like what's the mindset going into something like that?
So there's just so many different aspects. When I got in the meeting with them, they were telling me that when we do these NFL experiences, you're doing from everything from getting draft. You're taking all the fans on a journey, right? From draft night all the way to Columbine, where you have to like do all the running, the testing, hitting all the stuff, and the progression to actually getting drafted, right? And then now you're in it. So taking them through a journey, I think it's called Play 60 Minutes. You guys heard of that before? So you have to play, you have to at least get exercise for about 60 minutes a day.
Are you doing the Play 60 Minutes stuff?
Yes. And then so
that's cool. Yeah.
So what they're doing is the very first thing when you walk in the door, when you walk into Mandalay Convention Center, you get to see the vibration of just playing. When we all just, not even for like competition reasons, but when you were a kid, you played basketball, you played football, just having fun. So there's a bunch of kids running around doing obstacle courses, doing dance parties and stuff. Progressively, it goes into like, now we have to get into, okay, we're like in high school now, we're competing for trophies and stuff like that. You're getting ready for the draft, colleges and stuff like that. So in terms of preparation, I literally have to think of it as a timeline. When I was a kid, I was jumping up and down, and then the jumping up and down turned into exercise. Exercise turned into working out and trying out for a team. So you're literally telling a story throughout the whole week leading up to the Super Bowl. Because think about it, Patrick Mahomes and all of them, Travis Kelce, all of them have gone through that process, and we're taking the kids and
every single person,
person through that process until we get to the Super Bowl. So it's I get like a little like, woo, that's kind of deep right there, right?
That's some
It's interesting.
Depth. Yeah,
so
that's really cool.
It's definitely a journey, but yeah. So I had to think in that mindset of a kid, and then a teenager, and then a young adult, and then an adult, and then boom. So it's nuts.
And you're gonna be in Vegas.
Of all the places,
weather
man,
is gonna
the
be
temptation,
nice.
Do you
all
gamble?
the lights. What do you say?
Do you gamble?
I gamble on myself, and I save my money.
Facts.
Let's go.
Yeah. I'm
Bet
not a
on
big
yourself.
I will
Save
bet on
your
myself
paper.
every time.
There's so much more to do in Vegas than gambling.
Absolutely.
To be honest.
I will actually admit the Strip is my least favorite part about Vegas.
Yeah,
Agreed.
you can go to Fremont. There's so many different
Fremont's
places.
popping.
Cool. Yeah.
Really, there is like Red Rocks around there. There is, man.
Dude, my
Vegas-
favorite place, Red Rock Canyon. I grew up down there. So like I grew up in Vegas. Well,
Okay.
Henderson, Nevada. I call it the suburbs of Vegas because
Yeah,
it's basically
Sure,
grown into it.
Yeah.
Red Rock Canyon as a child was my favorite spot. My parents loved taking me there. I still remember it to this day. It's like, yeah,
It is
there's so much
magic,
more
bro.
to do than gambling.
It is magic. Like that place has got like I don't even know how to explain it. You can feel the centuries of vibes on centuries. And you're just like driving through these canyons. You can hop out and just climb on some rocks, and then hop back in the car, drive off a little bit more, and then climb on some rocks. And you're like, "Oh shit, we on some rocks. These motherfuckers been here forever, like ever."
Forever.
Oh yeah, you could see the marks.
Seriously.
You could just see it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Cool. I've only been to Vegas twice, and one time I was there for like almost a week, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. This is
that mistake
It was enough.
too.
it was enough, and that was
Dope.
partially because we didn't go anywhere except like the Strip, and it was
Oh,
just
I did that too. And it's a
It was
horrible
gotta
not.
mistake.
Yeah, and then
You
the
gotta
second
plan.
time I was there, I think I was there for like 3 days, and it was for somebody's like 30th birthday party or something, and I was just drunk from dusk till dawn, like every day. I
It
don't
could be
remember
purgatory.
anything. Yeah.
It could be straight purgatory.
Yeah.
It was. I should go back sometime as an actual fully fledged adult at some point and try the rocks or something.
You won't want to
Be
be on
careful
the
how you
strip
say
more.
that. I'm gonna go be an adult and try them rocks.
Yeah, Fremont is dope
Those
though.
guys.
I did
Adulting ain't no
Fremont.
I don't gotta go to Vegas for that.
Yeah, you don't have to. I was gonna say,
Yeah, I don't have to
shit.
go all the way to Vegas
Has
for that.
anyone been to that new like dome thing?
The Sphere?
The Sphere.
Oh,
No.
man. I did
I
not
get a
know there was
little like
concerts
dizzy
inside.
looking at it. I'm
It-
just like, ooh, I don't know.
That shit looks crazy.
I want to go to a UFC event there and see
They
like,
have UFC
fight.
events there.
They don't yet, but
I don't want to be
they're
seeing
gonna.
someone's face
Right.
get smashed.
I want to be. I want to go to the first
50
ever one. Except the tickets
stories.
are probably like fucking $8
Of
grand.
so you can
course.
see
Very
somebody's like
grand.
arm get snapped in half in like
I love that
giant fucking
IMAX.
IMAX.
Boom,
Exactly.
Boom, blood. God.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be watching the Sphere. I'd be watching the Ring.
Of course,
but-
of course.
But dog, I mean, like it's all a screen. Like, what are they?
But
Gonna
I don't think
do?
they're gonna project the fight on it. I think they're gonna put
like
Yeah, main
birds in
stage.
the background.
interesting
so you can calm
design,
down.
the cool shit,
Right.
and like you can put like how they have. Well, the timer, not that that's interesting, but like all the stuff like that you'd put on like the big, what do you call that?
Put their stats.
The
on there.
jumbotron thing
Yeah.
or whatever. You'd put the
How many times they get punched
some
in
of
the
that,
face
and then
per
I think
hour?
just
Well, part of the thing about events and like concerts and boxing and UFC is the grandness, the space around the ring, not necessarily just the ring. So with the Sphere, and I think they actually, from what the videos I've watched, they do a really great job of is making the space and making your world feel a lot bigger, which if you make it
Yep.
bigger, it makes it makes what's happening that is honestly kind of small seem that much bigger. It makes you remember it more.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
When you roll up to that spot, you're already engulfed in the environment because you can go to like a building and then you're like you don't see anything until you walk in. Like you get to see it from the outside before you even walk in. You're gonna see it as you're going down the strip.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be like, I'm going
Get
there.
that appetizer.
I mean, visually
yeah,
from
yeah.
the outside and technologically, because I'm one of those like I had to do.
Nerdy.
I had to.
Are we
do, like,
going into tech? Are we going into
Oh,
tech stuff
bro.
now?
Here we go.
I might have to
Here we go.
I might need
I
another
might
one of
get a
these.
drink for
It
myself while I do
is
this.
so
Yeah,
cutting
you need another one?
edge.
Just half.
It is so cutting edge.
Half a
What is
bottle?
happening with the tech behind that? That I don't know, man. I feel like it's a whole new
Yeah.
era. Like to have that kind of fidelity on a screen that wraps around an object. Like I know people are like, "Oh, it's a sphere." No. If they can make it a sphere, what else can they make that
Right.
technology?
That's
so
And that's where things get really crazy.
So here's like a side note. I'm a huge Star Wars geek, and so I like
Feel
learn
you.
Star Wars behind the scenes and everything. And I think the part of the technology they took from was because of this kind of sphere LED wall called the volume, and what the volume was, it was kind of made for Star Wars The Mandalorian, the first one.
oh yeah,
I don't know if you guys have watched it, but when you
I've watched The Mandalorian before.
yeah, so you see all those like you could see the mountains and everything. That's exactly what the actor is seeing, because what they did was they built this giant LED wall room, and what they can do is using game technology and CGI and everything, they can move and place lights and shadows because of the LED in
that looks
spots
super real to
that
the
make it
actual
real.
actor.
It makes it real to the actor, and it makes it real on camera. And like in real
that's
time,
huge.
if the director's like, "Can I have the mountain a little bit to the right by like an inch?"
they're just
They
like,
can
boom.
literally grab it and drag it.
Wow.
And so I think the sphere is just the bigger version of the volume.
Yeah.
And actually, I have a question for you guys, because you guys are DJs and entertainers. I don't know, and a curiosity question: if you had the opportunity to be in the sphere and just make a show out of the sphere, what do you have any thoughts, or is it?
I would go the total Aben Tobin route. I think I'm saying his name wrong.
Like, I have no idea what you're talking
That's
about.
Omar's third drink, by the way.
Yes, it is. But this guy is
Amen,
basically,
Tobin.
I know I'm butchering his name, and I feel so bad about it. But this is a guy who decided to, right at the edge of 3D projection, really start to work on putting together a visual show. And so what's cool about what he did was he recognized this new technology available and then decided to really use it in his show. Now, I think that U2 was, I saw pieces of their show.
Mm-hmm.
You see, there's tons of video of people who are at their show. I really look at them as much as I love their older stuff. Not necessarily a fan of their what's happening right now, but I really do appreciate the fact that they're pushing the envelope with that visual element, and I really see them as giving us clues to how we can move forward with this new technology.
Speaking of the technologies, what the hell is it made out of? Is it LED walls?
Yeah.
And it's just like round. You can get rounded, like they just custom made them.
LED is going to become pliable in the next few years. This is stuff that's
right. I have seen
really expensive right now. I actually, if you're in parts of Denver Airport, they have the pliable LED walls on certain pillars. It is literally like your LED 4K TV wrapped around a pillar. Looks crisp. Wild. Looks in dimension, and it's wild to see. That is going to be coming up really soon, and so that means for not quite consumers as of yet, but people in our event industry, we're going to start to see a lot of that technology coming into our realm within the next 3-4 years, where we're going to have access to this pliable LED technology. That's going to change a lot of our design. So it is going to flip it on its head.
Yeah, it was like a couple weeks ago, but I just got done helping install the new LED wall in Nike's new store at MOA, and they have, and like we actually held the actual LED panels, and they actually bend, they curve, and everything, and so you can wrap it any way you want. So when you go there, eventually when it opens up, you'll see shoes and everything, but you'll see this LED wall that's it's this big, but it wraps around, it curves with the wall. And
we were just in a meeting a few days ago with one of our friends, Ben. He's in the event planning industry as well. He was talking about LED DJ booths. So I was like, that's a game changer right there. So
that's something that we actually added to our operation, because now all of a sudden people want TVs attached to booths. This was crazy talk 2 years ago, and now we had to quickly acclimate and go, okay, well, people want DJ desks where they can have, things that are popular right now. The Chauvet Well sticks or Chauvet Freedom sticks, they're going to be everywhere. I just was looking at Chase and Status.
What is that? I don't.
Is the well stick the little? It looks like a lightsaber.
LED lightsabers.
Yep.
Yeah. There are companies oh man, I'm about to hip y'all to so much game right now. This shit's free, dog. Tune into Event Life, spitting on you. So there are the Chauvet Well sticks. They look like lightsabers. Those are going everywhere. But new configurations, look what's happening in Europe. Right now they're taking those and the Freedom Sticks and building cubes. They're literally mounting them to ceilings above the crowds, leaving them black, and then making them a part of their light show, so that all of a sudden you're getting not only the front throw projection, but you're getting all of these figures that were previously hidden, now immersed in the light show. So we're just at a different level now. We're
different
just
frequency. Yeah,
the game is changing. The game is rapidly changing.
It's always changing and so crazily fast. And sometimes it feels like it's not, but it really is
Oh yeah, it's. I've been so 2024 is my 20-year anniversary of working in venues.
By the way,
Yeah.
this is for anyone in the industry in this area. They have all went through Jessica. She is like the final boss of the event life game.
Finish
We're back to the Mario comparisons here.
She is the final boss.
What
You
is
get
that,
past
like?
her, you
Bowser?
won the game.
Bowser, yeah, I'm like Bowser now. Okay. I love it. But yeah, I mean, after like 20 years of doing this, it's like I can think back to 2013, 2012, something like that, where it was like, oh, this like light up LED wall that had like all these little individual squares that were different colors was like
Hot.
crazy, like wild.
I was like,
right?
you wildin'.
Yeah. Or like, what was that one? There was like the entertainers that had like the glow sticks on them, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're out there dancing and stuff. And now there's like little kids doing that for Halloween and shit, right? Like it's just not, it's nothing anymore. And it's like to see it go from there to like where you're like, oh, we're just gonna like wrap your bar in this LED screen for the night. Not forever, just for the night, just for this one event.
Yeah.
Like no big deal.
4K.
Yeah.
Look like your TV at home.
20 years
Crisp.
later. Yeah.
So the future is moving towards like a pliable LED structure. What else are we seeing in terms of like futuristic?
I think the future is really up to customization. A lot of what I'm seeing right now and things that I am working on this year is, even as a DJ, is taking the usual vantage point of DJ and changing that. People expect, okay, when you go to a party, the DJ's right up front. But what if the DJ moves throughout the crowd? What if the DJ is able to change their focus and have all their gear connected? So they are on a tablet, then they're on their actual rig, then on something else. I really think that that's the future of entertainment, is how can we take this from you just expecting to walk into a show to you being enveloped by a show. And that's where I think, that's more of my tech artistry brain and how really I want to push things forward in entertainment. But I think that really you'll see some things.
Oh.
Time to wake up.
You're like, sorry,
Sorry about that.
I was
I'm out.
alarmed to get here.
You know what? That's
I
my
can't be
time.
I got a date event.
That's
I
two
can't
party
afford to be
fouls,
late
man.
twice. Right?
Oh, you're gonna be late to the date
No,
now.
no. Yeah, it's just a
we're
reminder,
making you.
don't be late.
We're making you late to the
Y'all,
date now.
y'all seem a little more
Wait,
forgiving than the
yeah.
honey.
So you got a date tonight, and you put a. Bro, we're gonna have to talk about this after this.
20 minutes, and then
We're
you're good.
good. We're good.
All right.
We're good.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So
She's understanding.
I hope
If she
so.
likes
Shout
you,
out
she
to her.
better
She does
be.
podcasts as well too. So yeah, as well.
Oh, next time
well,
she'll
there
come
you
on.
go.
Oh,
There
yeah,
you go.
Of course.
So really, I think that the future is we have so many tools to get creative that it's not necessarily anymore about whether you're able to put on something grandiose, but it's about your ability to think outside of the box and use all these tools in a creative fashion. How can you create an event that is connective in a world where increasingly some of our clients are going to have hybrids of virtual, some might have augmented reality,
I was just
some
gonna
might
say.
have holographic reality. So we're really entering into this realm where you can't just think of it like, here's a DJ, there's a bar,
Right.
there's some cutlets, go for it.
I'm done.
Yeah, so I mean,
Are the cutlets on the buffet or the dance floor?
oh shit, now I'm hungry. A couple claws and you get hungry.
That's right.
So like virtual reality, do you think that's gonna like pick? Like, I feel like it kind of was like coming up, and it seems like it's kind of simmering.
I feel like people
right
are
now.
having a hard time figuring out how to incorporate it into things in a way that like feels like an addition and not just like a sideshow, right? I mean, that's kind of what.
Well, it's such a singularity type thing. Like you're kind of by yourself, and maybe you see other
Yeah.
people in it and all that.
Where
But like,
people get it wrong is they want to have an all for everyone solution, and really it's an all for what you bought solution. Where virtual reality and augmented reality works really well is actually in the internet realm. So if you're doing a hybrid solution, you can offer some augmented reality type things because they're viewing from their screen. That gives you a little bit more play. Whereas your event should not offer that live because there's nothing where they interface with where they're wearing unless you want to provide that where they can have that same digital experience.
Do you think it'll ever get to a point though where like everybody's got their little VR headset at home and now instead of like jumping on social media, like we're jumping into like a freaking online party.
Look at what Fortnite is doing.
I don't know anything about Fortnite.
Is a game.
You don't know any of the dances?
I don't know anything about it. I'm out of the loop.
Oh, bro, we're about to dive into this deep nerd zone right here.
Hit me with it.
We're gonna hit you. So what Fortnite has allowed people to do is open source their code. That basically means they can do several things. They can create their own video games. They can also create their own venues. Now, why is that powerful? You've already seen artists like Marshmello, like Wiz Khalifa throwing concerts.
Yeah. I have heard about this. I have heard about this. Eminem,
virtually. So now you have to think in the realm of these are the things that people are going to want. They may not have thousands of dollars to put on an event, but how can they interface with a DJ virtually? That might mean, hey, we send out a system to you. You plug in that system. Our DJ interfaces with that system virtually to give you an experience that's custom to you, where it's playing only to you. That might mean piping in more virtual experiences to where we're doing like the Verizon, right? So I think that right now it's the wild, wild west of that experience. What is the dictator of that? Your creativity and the tools at bay. Some clients are going to want a face-to-face interaction. I really think face-to-face interaction, people are going to hate me for saying this, but it's going to be the tool of the rich. It's going to be the people who have money who can pull people in face-to-face. Why? Because it takes so much to do that, whereas virtual augmented reality tools and events might become more virtual. Think virtual birthday parties for people who can't travel all over to meet up with their friends.
I feel like the thing that I love, and I feel like, you know, obviously we were doing things virtual during COVID, and then there was a period afterwards we were talking about a lot of hybrid things, and I feel like there's been a little bit of a reflex from that where people are like, I don't want to fucking do hybrid. It's a lot of work, right?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
It does add a lot of complications to things, and I hope and I think it is gonna come back around and become incorporated more. And I think what I love about it is that it's an equalizer, right? Yeah. So
Great
like if
equalizer.
you have kids, if you have disabilities, if you just don't have the money, but you want to participate, you want to be part of something, like you still can do that and be part of it. Or, you know, I feel like for fundraisers, it's like, you know, I can't afford the $150 ticket to go to this thing, but like,
but
will
what
I
if you
pay?
can afford a $30
will
ticket?
I pay $20 to watch it? To watch, you know, a private concert of something? Like, yeah, I might.
And this is where, again, hybrid, and I'm not throwing shots at anyone by any means, but where they missed out on this is hybrid has got to be thought about like a TV show.
Yes, that part.
It has to be produced. It can't be stagnant.
Be produced.
Yes.
And that's where, again, we thought about this in that way of, I was like, no, bro. This can't be static like your corporate meeting. This has got to be a produced TV show with 3 cameras and angles. And
I was going to say, because like the virtual is almost endless.
Yes.
It's endless, bro.
If you make it stagnant, it's going to suck. But like it's easier maybe to make crazy and cool than like a live event.
There are people right now
and
getting
that's like the statement
off of Twitch.
Yeah.
Straight up cash money. And you guys laugh at me. Folks are like, ha.
No, I'm just laughing.
I'm laughing to the bank with you. No worries. It's okay.
Okay. But like for real, there were some DJs I had to research because I'm like, I have never seen this DJ anywhere. And they're huge on Twitch.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I've never used it.
I'm doing the math
there's people
here.
making money
I'm
on
like,
Twitch.
Money.
What's the age demographic that's on Twitch?
This person is making $500,000
on 23.
Twitch,
right?
DJing and playing video
Google this and
games.
verify,
Kids to like
there's like
are you on Twitch?
Adults killing it.
Are you on it?
No, I'm not a gamer, so I really think
it's a game. I don't even know anything about it.
Like I think what it started as is like, I don't know. I'm not
it's
a gamer.
It's a live streaming gaming service.
People gaming.
Correct.
Like you're
For
watching
people
people
who are playing.
games.
Yep.
Streaming.
But it's like a continuation of like, you know, going onto YouTube and watching an unboxing of something, you know, like it's like participating in something that you're not actually part of.
Only fans.
Like,
The only difference, though,
Only
is
fans,
you
right?
can-
Yeah.
This
Only
like,
games. That's what it is. Yeah.
Twitch gave you the ability to like push things out live,
Right.
so you can literally message them live. You can show people's messages on the side.
Yes.
So what made Twitch so hot was you can see the literal live interaction happening versus like, you know, any other platform like YouTube where, oh, it's just a video I'm watching. Like, no, you can see someone's comment. I see your comment about this. Let me talk
they
about
respond.
that.
That's how
they
people
respond to
do.
their
Okay.
audience every time. It's like,
Yes.
hey, what's up,
It's
Johnny?
live.
What's up?
That's what they're on when
It
they
is
do that?
real.
Okay. I got
You
it
can see
now.
where it's coming from now.
It's
I-
real
it's happening.
time,
I've
and so-
connected the dots.
Yes.
Again, this is where I think people are thinking about the experience a little bit different.
Yes,
if they
they
started
have to.
thinking about it more of like a live and direct, like look at Kai. Is it Kai Sinnott? Or what do you say his last name is?
We'll edit that part out, but yeah, it's something. I know what we're talking
You know
about.
what I'm talking about, right?
And we'll be right back.
Right.
This guy literally just plays video games and talks shit to people, and he's fucking famous. It's amazing.
That's every gamer.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Are you? We can have Alex look it up. Look it up, Alex.
Wait,
What's
is
the
this
guy?
the guy who had the
Who's the
promo
guy?
in New York that like had the all
Yes!
these fucking
Yeah,
kids?
that-
roll
you know
out?
who he is.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
I know who he is.
That
I
is
didn't know
the
his
name.
name, but like I know who
I
he
don't
is.
know.
is a Twitch
He literally
guy.
had like thousands of kids show up because
They
he said he was.
arrested his ass.
Yeah.
They were like, you
They had to
literally
escort
shut
him
down city blocks in New York, dog.
He had all these kids show up, and it was like he promised something. I don't even know if it was like games or like money or something, but he
500,000 people showed up.
was
But
wild.
blew up the
look at the
neighborhood.
power of what he's doing, right? So
Yeah.
if we're just honest, most people are addicted to their phones right now.
Oh,
And so
everybody.
when you are in the entertainment industry, we have to be innovative and we have to be visionaries. We have to see, okay, with Rhodey Stark, it's not enough, like you said, to just have that structure. Now we have to get to the point where we already know they're going to be on their phones. Why not we control what they're viewing on their phones?
Yeah.
And so now we get to be like, okay, if you're going to be on your phone, you're going to be part of a show, though. And that's where Rhodey Stark Playhouse and Playhouse, it's just one of those
I
things
thought
where
that was really smart what you guys were doing when you were having people like go in and vote, because it's like I'm gonna look at my phone anyways, and also it gives me an excuse to do it without like feeling like I'm disrupting things or like whatever it is, and stay engaged and
keeps you
like
engaged. That's the
Are
Yeah.
you incorporating like a way to connect on your other social media when you have people log into that site? Is there like a button to like freaking like us or?
Wait, is this it?
Oh, I think we found the video. Let's watch it real quick, and then we'll get back to your point.
Look at this nonsense.
What's going on here?
So he invited these kids.
It's Generation Z. No, I'm
Oh
joking.
yeah, he was giving a console giveaway, and then but they just like so many showed up that it turned into like mayhem.
Impossible, yeah.
Yeah, complete mayhem.
Holy cow!
6.5 million.
Video creator with 6.5 million followers
Guys,
on
Senate.
Twitch
Yeah, we know.
Guys,
We got
promoting a
it.
giveaway in Manhattan's Union Square.
Like, look at this. It's wild.
He's good. He's good.
That boy good. That boy good.
So then they
Sexy
just
chocolate.
attacked everything.
They just kind of
They
like they just acted like
raged,
teenagers.
bro.
They
just
just
acted like
raged.
teenagers.
They raged.
Because they were like pissed that they weren't
Yeah.
going to win.
I mean, were
Well-
they pissed or were they just acting like teenagers?
They
It's
were.
a combination of both.
Yeah.
probably,
It's like
right?
mob
And then,
mentality.
yeah,
You see
they
I
got-
know
someone.
I'm not probably gonna win
They're
this, but
getting
let's
hype,
just
you
go
know?
fuck up shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and part of it was like, look, it wasn't organized well.
No.
At
This is where
all.
like where that innovation needs to also be paired with some experience, because that could have gone one way, but
Yeah.
it went a different way.
It went
right?
a different way, and you are 100. Had he had some experience,
Had he
behind-
had some
that could
people
have been
who
a
would have told
G
him-
move. That could have been
Oh.
a straight G move.
Yeah, he could have been getting this kind of publicity, getting this kind of press, but like in a good way, right? And like I think that the innovation is moving so fast sometimes, and it's adopted by like younger and younger and younger people. But there's not the experience to be like, hey, have you thought about the ramifications of how this is going to play out? Because literally their brains do not know how to do that yet, and they don't know how to like connect the dots, right? So if they're moving ahead with this innovation without having any of that experience or any of that like, you know, kind of thoughtfulness behind it, that's a recipe for disaster. But
That's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mosh pit.
I mean, bro, that was like,
but like, I mean,
y'all tearing up the club for a console. Like, dang, man. Like, you throwing chairs.
Right.
But you think about it too, like I've said this for years, like some of the stuff that we did at Aria in the beginning days, like I would never do that now because now I know better, right? Now I'm like, ooh, that was rough. Like I wouldn't do it that way ever again because now I've learned the lesson the hard way. But would we have created so much magic if we hadn't been willing to do those things?
True.
I don't know.
Experiment. You gotta.
That's a good point because there are times where, okay, as crazy as that was to see,
Right.
he sort of kind of had to see, can he flex that way?
Yeah.
And I think really there were no consideration of guardrails, right?
Safety.
Obviously.
A little safety in there.
But at the same time, I think about that in the event realm. In some cases, we have to be almost as fearless. Not quite to the point where we haven't thought of the ramifications, right? But there's something to be said about being fearless. Like, okay, I have this grand idea. It could totally blow up, but I'm willing to do it. Right?
Not afraid to fail.
I'm not
afraid
I'm
to
not
fail.
laughing at you, but there's an analogy because you brought up Star Wars, right? So we all know the scene where Anakin goes, "You underestimate my power." So he had to test out. He found out. You fuck around, you find out, right? So he learned that, like, Anakin, I have the higher ground. Don't do it. He did it, and he got his legs cut off. But back to your point, you have to go through those experiences to humble yourself. Play the clip. But it's just like,
I don't think we have the licensing right to play that.
Sometimes you have to get humbled in order to know what not to do. So that perfect example of his Anakin Skywalker, where now he's like, Darth Vader's like, I know not to jump over Obi-Wan.
Well, and it also is like an educational tool for all of us to understand, like, I don't think anybody could have predicted that. Like, who would have thought that many people would turn out for something like this? Like, you know, I think that it is like the technology is advancing beyond even those of us who do have experience, because it's like, yeah, I wouldn't have anticipated that many people would turn out for a game console.
Well,
you know,
and this goes deeper than that. Not only did he not anticipate how many people would come out, but he didn't anticipate the psychological effect
of all those
what
people
he
coming out.
put out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Not only how many people would come out, that effect, but really we have multiple effects that are stacked on top of each other.
A lot of psychology in here.
There's a lot of psychology, and this is a lesson for event people. When you are out there and you're planning your event, you have to think about every single psychological ramification of every single thing that you do, because really smart event planning is that. It's understanding the flow of what people are going to think about, and really, I have to say this, what they're going to think about when they're shit-faced. When they're absolutely out of their damn minds.
I think that this was something that I learned at some point at Aria days, like that a DJ actually said to me, and I had never considered this before that they said something about how the DJ can control the tone of a party so much.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure for a lot of people, like, that's like, yeah, a no-brainer, like, duh. But I hadn't thought of it before that I'm like, oh, you're right. Like, the music that they play can affect the way the crowd behaves.
There should be an actual dip in the middle of your wedding.
Yeah.
And why is that dip important? You need to cool your dance floor off.
Yeah.
It is not a good idea to burn out everyone in the first 2 hours.
Right. Like, there's some songs that actually, when DJs play, there's certain songs that I'm like, that's the end of the night. That's an 11 p.m. song, bro. What are you doing right now? Why are you playing that at 8:30? Like, this is jarring.
It depends on where you're taking them. Because
shot.
Grandma's still on the dance floor. No.
Right.
Grandma's trying to cut it to Footloose.
Kick off a Sunday.
It just depends again on where you're reading your wedding. Because I wouldn't say, I used to say, you can never play before 10 p.m. And there are some weddings where I'm like,
some of them it's
I'm
legit.
a sniper this mug in right as the dance floor opens, because this will be the accelerant to get my dance floor about that 30-minute mark of where I want to keep everyone here so that the photographers can get everything they need. And hype. Then I'm going to start pulling in some slow songs, slowing down the dance floor and getting weird. That is absolutely okay, because people are going to have weird requests Where do you stick them? Not in the beginning.
Right.
Not in the end. You try and stick them in somewhere in the
Pepper
middle.
them in the middle, right.
Where it's just like.
And what works for him as a DJ is different for me because DJing is an artistry. So he could say something and it works for him. That didn't work. I'm going to stick to what I know. So it's an art form.
And it's reading the crowd. And I think that I think that people underestimate like the ways in which that can have like an effect on things from not just your enjoyment level, but like a safety level, right?
Absolutely.
Like you see things starting to get a little like too hype, a little too
slow
turned
down.
up.
Throwing that R&B slow jams real quick.
It's time to maybe like mellow it out. Like let's take this down a notch.
Caroline's on deck. I'm about to get y'all to just sing.
Looks like there might be a little bit of a bite or a little bit of a fight. Like let's get Sweet Caroline out there and chill people out. Yeah,
that's awesome. This episode is sponsored by IMAV, an innovative and leading audiovisual company based in the Twin Cities. If you're looking to elevate your next event, all you have to do is reach out to the team at IMAV. They'll put together a package that not only fits your budget, but takes your event to the next level. IMAV strives to not only be a resource, but an asset to the success of your event. Whether you need video, audio, or lighting, the professionals at IMAV can execute and run your meeting or event flawlessly. Their team is a dream to work with and always deliver a final product that leaves guests blown away. Find them online at imav.pro. Use promo code EVENTLIFE when you contact them to receive 30% off all equipment rentals for your first event. Again, go to imav.pro to lock in the best audiovisual vendor for your next event. Let's move on to a new thing real quick, and then we'll wrap it up here in a little bit. Let's play a couple videos. We're gonna, yeah. I mean, we've talked a lot about a lot of stuff. We're gonna watch some videos, TikTok videos.
Oh, awesome!
And we'll comment, judge them, whatever we want to do, and just kind of have fun with it. So Alex will.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, pretty much.
To the no.
Yeah, pretty much. So.
Hell no! Say that. Oh hell no!
3 questions you should be asking before you book your wedding DJ. Number 1, do they MC as well? The flow of the whole event can depend on having a microphone and being able to get people where they need to be. So it's very important that you have somebody that can MC as well.
It's like duh, right?
Number 2,
yeah.
What kind of setup are they going to bring? Is it going to be something cheap that looks like a garage? Or is it going to be something nice and clean that looks elegant and really sets the tone?
Like a garage.
And number 3, how are you going to handle song requests? No matter where you're DJing or what kind of event it is, people are going to come up asking to play their favorite song. And you need to be prepared to handle that. Now, sometimes people make great suggestions. And you're like, oh, that'd be great. That'll flow right in.
You can cut it there, dude. So I think that's important, the song requests. Like, how do you handle song requests? Because I think it's always funny how, like, people either can do them or they don't. Or, like, a band can't take requests. So it's like...
Right.
You know,
the sessions can.
The sessions can.
Good plug.
Hybrid, baby. That's the future right there.
I think with requests, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it, right? So if you're coming off like, hey, can you play like this song for us, please? And I'll be like, I'll say, let me see what I got, right? And then if I keep on saying what, let me see if I got it real quick. Or, hey, maybe the bride, they want these particular songs to go first. They'll kind of get the hint like, oh, he's probably not going to play it, right? But if you kind of be...
it also depends on how many drinks they've had, and they're like,
so true.
I want to hear some Beyonce.
If you got a drunk Uncle Dave that keeps on asking for country, and the bride and groom don't like country, well, it's like, Dave, you cut off.
There's some definitely some.
I actually have developed a different psychology about requests. Now, a couple things that I do is I make sure that my questionnaire is very extensive.
Mm-hmm. For the bride and groom or the client.
Yeah. I get their must hears and their do not hears.
Sorry,
because
I got to check. Thanks for checking me on that.
Yeah.
Inclusiveness. Sorry. Don't cancel me.
Again, inclusive is important. I don't care who's getting married.
Progress.
Exactly.
Who's loving who.
Mm-hmm.
Cut the check. But I love you guys. It's all love. Seriously.
Back to the first question.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The very first question, though, was like, do you MC? It's just like, well, what would you expect? How would they know when the first dance is? You just hope the...
No,
there's a lot of people that don't.
They just press the button.
See, and that's the thing. You got to be like a DJ, and you don't probably go out and see a ton of DJs at weddings.
True, this is true.
So
Yeah.
as
You'd be
event
surprised.
like managers and stuff like that, we see a ton of DJs, and not all of them are equal.
And this is like
there's a lot of bad ones.
Yeah, and it's not even about experience level. It's not about skill level. Like there's a big difference, and this is not a knock on it because I think that they can bring like a fucking party. But like people who are like nightclub DJs, they don't know how to MC necessarily
because they're not used to
because they're not used to it.
They know how to tell you how to shake your ass. But
Yeah,
that's about it.
yeah. If you want people to get up there and like dance, they can definitely do that. But if you need somebody to like introduce the wedding party, that's like sometimes a struggle.
So this actually comes into a very good sort of side situation. I actually had a guy, Bill Herman. Shout out to Bill Herman.
OG.
Yeah, OG. Yeah.
It actually taught me some game. And this is where I know you introduced me as DJ Omaur Bliss. I've actually been pulling back that DJ portion. Okay. And part of what I realized is it doesn't matter the tools that I use. Because Bill Herman, for example, does DJ, but he's not paid the money he gets for DJing.
No, he's an MC.
He is an MC, and even more than an MC, he's an entertainer and a storyteller. I would put storyteller over all of that. And he weaves entertainment and jokes and comedy. And can he play some songs? Sure. He's not like me where I don't have to say one word, but I'll burn this fucking place down, right? He is a guy who he's great at DJing, but he really uses his words well.
He's a master of ceremonies.
And what that taught me is your value is in like understanding what your client wants first and foremost. We get the same result. Me not saying one word and just torching this place with crazy, intricate DJ mixes, or him saying all of the words, getting people up to. We worked a wedding together, and this was crazy because literally I watched him work this crowd through dinner, and I straight sniped him during the dance portion.
Yeah,
like it was the moment I hit first song. This crowd was like throwing shirts off, throwing like waving towels and shit.
Well, he laid that groundwork for you.
He laid the groundwork. And so what I really realized is it's not about what we did in particular. It was about understanding where that client wanted to go.
That part.
That was the part.
For sure. I call you DJ Omaur Bliss because that's how I knew you originally. So it's like glued in my mind, and I apologize for that.
No.
But
please.
No, I know you don't mean it like in a whatever way. But
it's not a disrespect at all. But
no, totally.
Really, what it's
progress
showing
over
me,
perfection.
I'm working on myself.
And
I'm growing.
To be honest, in the next few years, I actually see myself heading more in Jessica's direction because of all of the things I've done. Like I'm doing more planning for other events, pulling in other artists, working in logistics,
the producing,
thinking of doing a lot more of
like
that actual producing role. And that is very exciting to me. I think as event professionals, we can't be afraid of growing our skill sets as well.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next video. Unless you got something else to say. Okay, let's keep it moving.
On to the next.
These are some things to consider when you're choosing
this
between
one's for you.
a band and a DJ for your wedding reception. Bands add a little je ne sais quoi to your wedding reception. They're loud, they're high energy, they add this layer of sophistication to a wedding reception that a DJ could never really emulate. You are also providing your guests with the experience of a live performance. Bands work really great if you have the budget for them, obviously, because they are a lot more expensive than a DJ. And if you have the space, you really do need a large venue if you're going to accommodate a band. DJs work great if you have a tight space and if you have a tight budget. Even with things like vendor meals, it's much easier to provide a vendor meal to one DJ than it is to an 8-piece
actually
band.
really
Also, if you want
good
to
intel. That's a very good
specific
point.
tracks, it's going to be easier for the DJ to find those than for a band to learn them. I also tend to think of younger crowds when I think of DJs. Think of the vibe, think of the space, and think of the budget, and those three things should lead you in the right direction.
I think she has a lot of good points. There's going to be some things I will, of course, argue. I have seen a DJ with terrible equipment burn a whole place to the ground, whereas a band with all the fancy stuff, people are bored to death. bored.
Because they're the same old ass songs, you mean? Like,
and
well, just the energy of the band is like a lot of it, I feel like
it's energy of the band. And even if they're given like, hey, you really have to understand where your crowd wants to go, whether you're playing a tape player or you got like a whole 15-piece band.
That's the beauty of the DJ.
Yeah,
because you can go anywhere that it needs to go.
But I've seen some terrible DJs like who. This is where, again, part of the reason why I stripped that DJ away is what I'm doing is a little bit more than just what people think of as a DJ, right? When they think of a wedding DJs get this bad thing of they're going to play the track, they're going to fade it out, they're going to play another one, they're going to be like, hey, Sue, are you ready to come out and dance?
Ready to rock.
Are you ready to rock? And that's not exactly what I do. But what she does have is a good point. With bands, the right band, the right energy, it's different. With DJs, the right DJ, the right energy, it's different. So I always want to step away from bands do this really well and DJs do that really well. No, both of them play really good music. It's just on who you select. And really, if you're going to do a band versus a DJ, you want to make sure the band fits what's going on. And one thing she said, younger crowds do want DJs because of that variety, but parents pay the bills.
True.
Yeah, I think people always like, you want to hear a certain song, and you kind of want it to sound the way it sounds. And with a band, you don't always get that.
Nope. Exactly.
You might have a dude singing a chick part, or a chick singing a dude part, or just something in between there, or they just don't hit it right. Like, you can't sing Johnny Cash if you're not like, if you got to have that voice.
Yeah.
That not that Johnny Cash is playing wedding songs, or, you know. But
you'd be surprised.
But, I mean, there's a couple, but
yeah,
I think of it mostly as like, because people are actually okay with the Johnny Cash, for example. That gets a little bit more of a pass. But have you heard the Rihanna songs where the band tries to do it and it's just
we
like,
found love in a hopeless
that's
place.
painful. It's so painful.
It's just like, oh, this sounds so terrible, and I really want to believe it, but it just
like
fangless.
Or trying to sing Amy Winehouse or something like that. Like, it's hard to emulate.
It's a band knowing what they're good at and being willing to say no to things, which I think for vendors of all walks, like knowing what you're good at. It's not like, okay, you should experiment, you should try new things. But if you're like, you know what, we cannot do this well, like.
That's hard for bands, though.
Yeah.
Because think about all these bands that are going to take gigs. And I'll be honest, you're 100% right. Bands should do that. But that is incredibly hard, and bands don't do that. Right. They're going to take the gig even though they know sonically they can't really duplicate that because it's just money.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, they should take the gig. Just be a little more clear about what you can and cannot accomplish, or like what it's going to sound like.
Because I've seen bands doing Lizzo that should have had
business.
Zero zilch nada business doing Lizzo.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's the beauty now of the hybrid, which I think is overlooked a lot. Like that video. This is why you pick a band. This is why you pick a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
why not both?
Why not get the best of both worlds?
Yeah.
And get something that you can kind of do everything.
I've been in both
positions. Makes so much sense.
Where like they said, generational, right? So the parents are paying the money. I've worked with old money. I've worked with new money. And so I've been told before, they're like, Grant, we usually do bands with our old money, like kind of crowd or whatever. They're respecting bands, but the bride really wanted you as a DJ. And so that's where it's like, me and Omaur talked about it. When you mix the sessions together with that band and that DJ, you get the best of both worlds. Where the old people, the old man, are like, oh yeah, I remember Frank Sinatra, but then they're like, oh, is that Rihanna? I like the remix. Like, you just don't know what kind of crowd you're going to get, right? Yeah. And you get to please the old folks, you get to the new folks, and then they come together. The sessions are literally bridging the gap, and that's what we're looking for in 2024 and beyond. So
awesome. Let's watch one more video.
Yes. Hell yeah. By the way, where are you guys finding it? Just randomly?
Dude. So the DJ tip, if a party isn't turning up, play for the ladies.
100%.
They are the party. This is funny.
I'm going to flip this on the head. I'm going to make this 2024 approved. Play music for the people who are dancing.
Yeah.
This is true. This is a good point.
Because, look, I've done plenty of weddings where it was not the ladies who were dancing, it was the gay fellas. And they tore that shit up, and I'm going to play all day for y'all what you need.
That's real
Make
talk,
it
too.
happen.
Like, I was just watching a video recently where it was like, it was a wedding, and there was a gentleman on the dance floor that was going in. He was like, everything, like doing the splits, like death drops, like twerking, everything. And the DJ was like, it literally was like, where my ladies at? The ladies were taking videos of this dude getting it in. Like, they were enjoying the show. And he said it like 3 times, and it kind of got to the point where it was like, that's kind of disrespectful. Like, hype him up, you know?
I'd be like, look at my man getting it.
Yeah.
Who wants to get it? Who wants to get like this guy right here?
Right. Yes.
This, like, that's what I'm saying. And I used to be all like, where my ladies at? Where my ladies at? Like, trying to lean into the ladies. And I think that, you know, it's easy, again, to make assumptions about who's going to dance. The weirdest thing I have found is that the people who might start your dance party are not the people you would have pictured starting your dance party at the beginning of the event. It might be the old corporate-looking guy where you throw on some 90s hip-hop, and he's going for
one move.
He is sticking that one move like his life depends on it. Yeah. He is with it, and that's what turns the party out. It is never who you expect. Never. And so my general job is it's more of like, I often think of DJing as akin to science. Science is a lot of documentation and experimentation. What happens if I mix this into this? How are they reacting? Okay, got some head turns. People looking this way. Cool. What if I mix this into this? Okay, some people nod. They're like, okay, all right. What if I do this into this? Again, we're now starting to understand the relationship. And then usually about, if you're willing to take this mindset and just notice, you will figure out in a half an hour what you need to win. If you don't do that and you just go to what you think you know will win, you won't win. You won't win at all.
Don't be afraid to go to other genres as well, too, if it's not hitting. Because, once again, if you see older people in the crowd and there's a bunch of them, like a wedding, they got great aunts, great uncles, grandpas, and they're sitting down, don't be afraid to slow it down.
Don't be afraid of that Lone Star Amazed by You.
Yeah,
that shit
seriously.
will turn a weird-ass party out.
And the dance floor will gravitate, and then that's after you get them, you hit them with a Cupid shuffle, or you hit them. Nobody wants to be the first person on the dance floor, usually, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's where us as entertainers, we either have to get on the dance floor and lead the line dance, or we have to be at least knowledgeable of what's going to work. So don't keep on forcing EDM and hip hop. If it's a country, you got to read the room and you got to see, like, okay, my audience demographic, 45 plus. Okay, so I need to go back to the 80s, 70s, funk. What was everyone dancing to? So as a DJ, you got to do your homework, and there's no way around it. So,
and one thing that Grant actually pointed out, and he does this really well, and don't get me wrong, this won't work every single time. Getting out on the dance floor as a DJ and dancing with folks, you may be out there on the floor and no one dances with you, but 2 hours later, people dance.
Mm-hmm.
People need to know it's okay. It is our job in events to give people a space that they can be okay in being themselves. Sometimes you're like, yo, dog, reel that self in. Just a little bit.
Like,
You being a little too yourself, homie. Pull it back.
it's looking a little BET out there, man.
Yeah, come on, bro. This is a corporate job. This is corporate. Come on,
106
come on.
Park, baby.
Come on. Let's
So
pull
you
it
know.
back. But that is the power that we have. We get to let people be themselves in this space for a moment, or probably for the most part of their life, they're either under someone, reporting to someone, having to not be themselves, or not being able to have any voice.
A lot of times, too, it just takes like one person being unapologetically themselves to make other people feel comfortable doing it, too. Like sometimes you need like a leader, someone who's willing to put themselves out there, look a little silly, feel a little silly, but it invites other people to do the same.
Absolutely.
And then it doesn't feel silly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
then it doesn't feel
It's like
silly.
we're having fun.
Yeah.
You get permission to be yourself
Yes.
after you see someone else do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Real quick, what's like a fun song you like to end a night on? Both of you guys.
Ooh.
I will go first.
Do you have like a famous like closer?
I like Forever because by Chris Brown, because it's like especially in the wedding industry,
Okay.
it's like I waited this whole night for this one night to be on the dance floor and then you're surrounded by everybody.
I've been
So
waiting for forever.
yeah, you get it, and
yeah.
then dance forever. But it's actually the last song, so I really can't dance forever. I gotta go home. But you know, for me, it's one of those things in my generation where everyone knew Chris Brown, and then you know. That one, everyone gets that one time where it's all about you, and then the wedding. For some people, it's the biggest moment of their life. So I like that song to end it.
I don't know. I have done everything from Eddie Money's "Take Me Home Tonight" to
yeah.
That's a good one.
I do personalized crowd reads, and usually where I end up on the song. I think that music has a very important power, and if you understand music and just statements enough, people are going to tell you the last song that you need to end on because of statements that they've said during their speeches, themes that they've pulled out of their music. So it might be Eddie Money's "Take Me Home Tonight." It might be "Love on Top." It might be something that's completely different, like "Give Me Everything," Pitbull.
Closing time.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Closing time.
Closing time is usually reserved for "I'm sick of y'all motherfuckers."
Yeah,
Deuces.
that's like
Some shade in that
that's
song.
really actually have to
kicking
go
it.
the fuck
There's
home.
some-
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
usually I'll throw that on if I'm like, yeah.
When that comes on, then I'm like slowly like, time to turn up the lights.
There are
Get the
some
fuck
people who
out.
have asked for that, but yeah, usually again, I often ask couples what are their last song, but for me, my favorite last song is going to be "Love on Top." It's a great one.
I don't know it off the title, but
It's a Beyonce song.
sorry,
that
sorry, y'all.
No, for people,
Sorry for my face.
for
I was
people who
like,
know
what?
Beyonce, this is like the quintessential Beyonce song.
Okay.
It is what made her famous. That's the only way I can say it.
Stop thinking less of me over there. No.
I'm judging you a little bit. It's okay.
I'm sure I know the song. I just don't. I'm not good at
I'm gonna
titles.
bring it back to that
Because,
video. If you are ever playing for ladies,
Yeah, that
play
one
"Love
will
on
bring it out.
Top."
I feel
Next
like
time I'm
Play Love
DJing,
on
I'll
Top.
yeah. Next time.
If you're ever playing for ladies and gay men, play "Love on Top."
All right.
we had a couple. This was actually our first wedding at Machine Shop, and this is like I have to tell this story because it's Love on Top related. But shout out to Charlotte and Cedric. They were this gorgeous little couple that was getting married, and they were our first wedding, and they'd been together for a while, and when they were in college, they played a game of basketball, I think it was, or something, and if he won, she had to do something. If she won, he had to do something, and he lost and was supposed to sing "Love on Top." I don't know where or when, but he didn't do it, right? He was like, no. So they decided, he and the groomsmen decided that they were going to perform it that night.
Oh, that's amazing.
And she's a huge Beyonce fan, right? So they were coming in a couple days beforehand to rehearse and stuff. And Cedric was a football player at the time, and he's actually like a content creator right now. So like, shout out to Cedric.
Hey.
They came in and were performing. It was all these like really big, burly, like football dudes, like
Singing "Love
and
on
dancing
Top"?
and dancing, the whole dance, the whole 9 yards. And it went off. It was so good. It was like one of the best moments at a wedding ever. They got up and all sang it and did the dance. And
Yeah, it's a vibe. It's just a great vibe. This is the one song you can have a literal brawl in the club and play that song, and people will stop fighting. Like straight up.
I feel like you have experience with this or something, Alex, because you look like you were agreeing.
Yeah, he
with
was like
this very
singing it over
emphatically.
there, and
I'm a huge fan. Like my type of comedy is where something doesn't match the situation,
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like it just takes a left turn and I expected it to take a right, because I'm usually able to predict movies very easily. So if you played this song during a fight and the fight kept going and got intense, that's where my brain went.
Oh, dude, now, trust me. Don't actually try that at home, because fools will still fight.
They'd be like, "Is this Love on Top?"
They be like, "This shit sucks. I'm still gonna murder your ass."
just go right back to punching.
Right. Know your audience, right?
My girl's loving this. I'm still gonna kill you.
That's awesome. Thank you guys for being here. Let's do this again sometime.
Thank you for having us. Yes, absolutely.
We got to wrap it so you can go on that date.
Yeah,
I mean,
so we can make you not late for
luckily
something else.
we're going to a comedy show, so I can be like, late, right? CPT.
That was fun. Hey,
Black
remember
History
that time
Month.
I was late? That was funny, right?
Right.
Yeah, it is
So
February.
luckily, it's the second date, so hopefully she'll forgive me. So yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Just know that CBT isn't for all folks.
Right, for sure.
Fellow folk ain't monoliths. You was just late.
Right, for sure.
No,
But
let's do it
for having
again.
us.
Love
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Yep.
This was amazing.
Thank you guys.
Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you for watching the podcast. Hit the like and follow button to stay updated on our latest episode. If you have ideas of topics or guests you'd like us to interview, drop us a comment and we'll see you next time.